In the year 1999, the world was blessed with something special. That being yours truly, but there was also something else that was released for the Nintendo 64. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about I'll be honest, I can't help but get pumped whenever I hear the announcer scream. Now, this was a pretty memorable moment in video game history, as this was the first game, to my knowledge, that featured multiple popular Nintendo characters crossing over into one game. And over time, the number of familiar faces expanded with each entry, from Melee to Brawl to Wii U and 3DS, to the newest and biggest Smash Bros yet, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I can tell you as a really big fan that this is the only game I've ever played in the series. Super Smash Bros, for those of you that don't know, is a platform fighter where you have to knock off your opponents off the stage, something I can never do. There are 74 fighters to choose from, each with their own unique moveset, so no matter who you fight or who you fight as, there's always a refreshing variety which makes the game immensely replayable. That being said, the online fucking sucks. Before we continue, I would just like to say that the issues with Smash's Online is mainly technical, but in this video I'd like to talk about it in general, as well as my experience with the online community. Now let me ask you a question. What do all these have in common? That's right, they're all known as games. But they also all have the same goal. You have to survive and fight to win against your opponents. My friends, that is a somewhat loose definition of the word competition. Competitive video games have been a thing since, well, the very first video game was created. While Tennis for Two was made by a scientist who was just fucking bored at his job, what he made was essentially a two-player competition. And this idea evolved from Tennis for Two, to Pong, to Mario Tennis, to Wii Sports Tennis. God damn it, why are there so many tennis games? Back to the point, a lot of early games were based on sports, and we generally view sports as a competitive thing. Not only that, but arcades back in the day thrived on player competition with leaderboards on games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, or fighting games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Damn, I can't believe I was able to segue back to fighters with that god-awful tangent. All fighting games are a competitive experience because their design is fundamentally beating the shit out of each other. Despite this, competition was never really in people's minds, as the games you played in the arcade or on home consoles were generally with friends and family. There's that sense of familiarity between the person you're playing with, and it becomes more of a friendly rivalry than a full-on competition. But here's a wacky question. What if you could play with strangers? Well, you already could in arcades, but that's not fair, you can see their faces. What if you could interact with someone without even knowing what they look like? I'm just explaining the internet, aren't I? The internet has been around for quite a while, although not as it is right now. And many companies have tried to connect gaming and the internet to create online gaming, so they could fuck him up. The first successful console to implement this was Sega's Dreamcast system on September 10th, 2K18 is a game I've never played. They named their service SegaNet, and it was used to dish out online to a bunch of games until the service was cancelled on July 23rd, 2001. But why are we talking about Sega? Sonic is in Smash Bros. And we're back on topic! The first game to feature online was Brawl, and the only thing I know about Brawl is that it's a crossover fighting video game developed by Sora Limited and Game Arts and published by Nintendo. Okay, I think I rambled enough. Let's go straight into the online of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now when you jump into online, there's a few options to choose from. There's a big old Smash one, which is just the normal mode. An online tourney mode, which is essentially a tournament style battle you face with other players. And a spectate mode, which is completely pointless because who watches people play Smash, see? I'm gonna jump straight into a quick play session and well, for my main, ho, you'll never see it coming.
It's not.
Hey, you really didn't see it coming, bitch. Can we just appreciate how fucking terrifying Mii fighters look in the loading screen? Jesus Christ. Alright, I don't mean to brag, but I'm a bit of a pro, so I'm just gonna show off my true Smash skills right here. Can you please ignore that? Let's just move on. Alright, let's try this again, but with an actual fighter. Not to call out all the people who made Mii fighters, but seriously, what the fuck are you doing? This is fine. Oh, I gotta tell you, the tourney mode is pretty cool. I already won my first match and I'm feeling pretty confident that I can win the whole thing. I'll give you guys a pro tip. If you want to get good, just use Ganondorf. He wins like every match, seriously. Alright, I think it's time to cue the epic music. Alright guys, I'm pretty confident that I'll win this match, don't worry about it. I'm pretty good with this game, I like to think that. Oh, for fuck's sake! Battle Arena is a mode where you can play against friends. I think it's a great idea to showcase this, so I'm gonna see if any of my friends are online. Oh yeah, I forgot I have no friends. At this point, I'm not exactly confident in my skill or the online service, so I'm just gonna try one last tourney match and just to see how far I get. Oh, would you look at that, I won. That about sums up my experience with Smash Ultimate's online, so I have a few points to make. Nintendo's online service for Smash is kinda bad, in that it's non-existent. Let me give you an example. Say you play some Call of Duty multiplayer with a bunch of other dudes, yet one of those dudes is teleporting everywhere because of their crappy internet. Despite that, you can play just fine because Call of Duty has dedicated servers that people join in order to play. Smash Ultimate, however, doesn't have that. Instead, it uses peer-to-peer, or P2P, connection. Peer-to-peer essentially means that when two or more people connect, their systems become both the server and the client, taking out the middleman of a dedicated server. The problem with that, however, is that without a central server, if you play Smash Online and one of you has crappy internet, at best it will be a very slow fight, and at worst, well, everything just fucks up. You know it's bad when not even Jesus himself can save this match. Because of this, the online experience on the technical side is a little unpredictable. Taking that aside, however, playing online is pretty darn fun. The enormous character roster and the variety of players means that every single match will be a new experience when you come across people with different skills. If you're like me, however, you will lose almost every single one of them. I personally tend to get a little more nervous when I play online, as there's usually a big difference in skill level against other players, and my brain goes, oh, it's just a casual match, to a fight to the death. But even with that, it still makes for a really fun experience, and you'll feel even more satisfied when you finally win. So with all that, before I give my final vote on my experience with Smashers Online, I'd like to say one thing. Send some love to Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Smash Bros, for joining all these characters together, even though some of them fucking suck. 6 out of 10.